Okay, and hopefully they'll get the notification soon, and then people will start strolling in. All
They
right.
usually do. It takes like a few moments, but sometimes you have to refresh the page and the alerts come in.
Mm-hmm. Somebody.
YouTube's been doing some strange things.
I know, I know. Well, let's see. We'll give somebody usually say something in the chat like, "I'm here, I'm here." Okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, girl, I'm telling you, it's Young and the Restless tomorrow. Oh my goodness, get your popcorn ready.
So is it better? Is it gonna like take over like the Ashley storyline? Because
There's,
Ashley's been killing it.
well, yeah, though. I mean, Melody and Peter Bergman tomorrow is going to be. I'm like everybody trying to get an Emmy next year.
I see that. And
Hey.
good for them. And I guess maybe the contract extension,
Mm-hmm.
everyone, the right, everyone's motivated now. The writer strike is over, so maybe everyone feels inspired. And clearly, Eileen Davison is inspired. Melody inspired since last year. Well, don't want to take away from the actors, but the storylines we've been given have been amazing so far.
Yeah.
Well, the actors have been really do an amazing job.
Yeah, girl. Well, I see they starting to stroll in. Hey, Grace. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Monique. Delmonica. Amise. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so we were just talking a little bit about Young and the Restless for May 2nd episode. You guys got to check it out tomorrow. It is, yeah, it's definitely popcorn worthy.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so scared.
What you scared for?
I'm like, Jack has been doing so well. Why did he get himself sucked in to what Nikki is going through? And it's been several months, and this woman has not been to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone is just. I understand he cannot force someone to go. I do get that, but to this point, this woman was in a hotel room tearing the whole place up. She knows she can afford it. She can afford a hotel room, the hotel actually. But still, she's in a whole hotel room with a bottle of vodka and she's imagining her family is like trashing her and blaming her for the whole Jordan mess. And it's just sad to kind of see that.
Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. I see somebody said that they couldn't hear us have anything started yet. Can if you guys can hear us talking, drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear us. Drop a 1 in the chat. Let me see. Do you see any ones yet? Can you guys hear us?
Let me see.
Okay, Monique said 1. Victoria said
Yeah,
1.
the ones are coming in. Okay, good.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and jump into this. Yeah, well, we'll see what happened on Friday, but yeah, it's not looking good tomorrow. It's not looking good tomorrow for Jack. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys can hear. All right, so we're gonna talk about this is the midweek chat. I know I didn't do one last week because it was my birthday last Wednesday, so I don't know, just kind
Did
of.
you enjoy it?
I did. I had a lot of stuff to do last week, because usually around this time of the year, around my birthday, is when I catch up on all my physical health. I go get my physical done. I go get all this. It kind of, and my mammogram done. So I kind of keep up by putting it close around my birthday. So I was in and out of the office getting my eyes checked and this checked and that checked. So, yeah. But other than that, yeah, I had a good time.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
All right, so let's first talk about Shecon. I'm gonna start there. I love Shecon. I don't I really liked them too. Especially Bree, how he was talking to, there's my girl, here's her beautiful face. He loved him some Sheila.
I love Shecom too. It's like the polar opposite of Breckenridge, which is very nice. And it's genuine, and I root for it. My only issue was Finn in this whole situation.
Well, we'll get there. I got another picture for that one.
But it is the way that he is so dedicated to this woman. It's kind of like, yes, we know she's a Michael Myers at daytime, yes. But this man, he loved him some Michael Myers at daytime. And the fact that he went out of his way, didn't give up, found her, and he took charge. And I'm like, okay, Karate Kid, good for you. I'm very happy for Shecon, and it's a breath of fresh air in comparison to all the stuff we used to have with Breckenridge.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact of the matter is that's all that she actually wanted over all these years, is to find true love. And I'm wondering, could Deacon possibly be that one true love that she was always looking for?
That's a great question. I thought for her it was always Eric, but she couldn't ever go back to Eric.
No.
She came close, but Gwen had to put the dukes up. But I guess for her, good for her. If Deacon is that man, and if Sheila's that girl for him, good for them. I'll root for that. And they were doing so good. They were perfectly fine away from the Forresters. It was like they all constantly come to Deacon's restaurant. But and go there to complain about Sheila. She's at work. She's not bothering you guys.
Nope.
And they were off camera for a certain amount of months during the Eric storyline. So it's like it was very random. I'm like, come on, leave these two alone.
I know. And the thing is, Deacon had promised them back last year, I make a promise that I'm going to keep Sheila away from everybody. And as long as he was loving on this girl, she stayed away. They were coming up in there. Bill was in her face. Lee was throwing bolognese in her face. And she, even though she was thinking about sticking her a couple of times, but, she actually, kept it up on the wrap. So, I mean, she stayed away and he kept her away. Just like
Absolutely.
he said. This is all again on Steffy. This is on Steffy. She overreacted on a picture where Sheila was in the background behind the bar. It wasn't like Sheila was standing behind the kids. Y'all, they were at her restaurant.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Deacon is her man. That's her restaurant. And she was at her job behind a bar. The girl pulled out her phone. Sheila had no control over that.
Nope.
None. And then Steffi had to feel like she had to take charge. Miss Sonia Blade is busting in Sheila's home while she's washing her soaps, painting her 9 toes, minding her own business.
Exactly.
And then it all spiraled out of control from there.
Exactly, which makes no sense to me. This whole thing went left because of her. Now, what was also interesting in today's episode, when they talked about sugar. So,
yeah.
When they were trying to get her to answer the questions about what happened to you and what's going on. Now, hey, Bree, do you wonder where they get that nasty water from? It would just happen to be a water bottle just on the floor.
Yeah, I'm a germaphobe. I was really creeped out about it, and it looked like it was already open. I'm like, no. And it was very random at the bottom of, was it a sewer or back alley? What was that place?
You just find some random water bottle on the ground and say, here, drink it. Ew.
Yeah. Like I'll be dehydrated. That's fine.
Right, because that in itself might poison me.
Exactly. And I don't know how long she's been without food. Like yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I don't want to add germs on top of germs.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because some of this isn't that realistic. She was chained to a bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And looked like she couldn't go no further than maybe a few inches, few feet, maybe a foot. So Sugar attacked Steffi at the end. I think it was the February 26th episode. So it's been a little bit over 2 months. How was she able to survive, go to the bathroom, do any of this stuff for 2 months and being chained to that bed? She should be unalived by now.
Yeah, because it's been what?
2 months.
Been a long while.
Yeah, it was February 26th when all that went down, when Sugar was in Steffi's house, right? So you talking 2 months where you can't go that far. I mean, there were, I think they said candy wrappers and stuff in the bed, but where you get that from? I don't know. That's just weird. But I'm like, okay, it's a soap. Let it go. I overanalyze some things, Tom.
But no, that makes perfect sense because did Sugar have like another accomplice? Could that be a possibility?
How was she able to eat anything? I mean, you couldn't move. It's not like she had free reign to the room. Like Jordan can move around her cell, right? She's not chained to that little bed that she's on. She can at least move around. She was chained to the, like, what was that, to the floor or whatever it was, and laying on a dirty mattress. Okay, how do you get to? Did you go on yourself? I mean, it's got to be bad. It's got to be bad.
I feel like there might be an accomplice.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder how long. I forget that man's name, Ron Howard's brother, how long he is going to be on the show, if it's going to be like a couple more episodes, because Sugar would have to have an accomplice to keep Sheila prisoner and alive for that period of time. And I don't know. That makes no sense to me. And it makes me wonder if maybe the homeless man, because he knew exactly what happened. And directed Deacon and Finn to where to go, so he knew what took place. Maybe he was helping her, or something to that effect. It just leaves a lot of questions.
Yeah. That is true. So now when they bring up Sugar, she's about to lose her mind. But the interesting thing is that the first person she thought of when it came to Sugar was Steffi.
Oh, so
did you hear her when she said that? She was like, where's Steffi? Is she okay? Is she still alive? That was the first thing that came out of her mouth when they brought up the whole thing with Sugar.
So this is definitely Sugar's plan all along. So it makes me wonder what happened. So what happened when Sheila was really upset? She was kind of beating her chest a little bit, saying like Steffi doesn't know who she was messing with before she had left Deacon's place. And the next scene that we get is, I guess, Sugar looking directly at Steffi in her house. But I'm like, what happened during that time frame? Because Sheila was upset, like she was about to do something to Steffi. So was this a plan that went wrong between Sheila and Sugar, and Sugar just decided to go rogue on the plan or something? Like, this is a very confusing.
Yeah, very, but I just was interested in the fact that she had so much concern for Steffi. Because she didn't say, Finn, are you okay? Or did Sugar hurt you or anything like that? The first person that she was worried about was Steffi.
So she had to know what Sugar was going to do, or maybe Sheila was trying to stop Sugar
I believe she was. She did say that. I think she said I tried to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that going to count for anything? I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think Steffi is going to care that Sheila was concerned about Sugar attacking her at
Yeah.
all.
If anything, she's gonna have more of her guard up.
Yep. Yep. Then we're going to get on your subject, Finn.
Lord.
I'm going to let you have the floor.
I'm so confused by Finn and Steffy, actually, but Finn, we'll start with him. He had the opportunity at the beginning of this week to ignore this whole situation. He really could have just went to work, but no, he entertained Deacon once again, even though he knows this upsets his wife, who has a history of leaving him because of this whole Sheila thing.
Mm.
He had the opportunity when Deacon said, well, what should we do? This man had the nerve to say, well, I guess we have no choice. You always had a choice. You're a whole doctor. All you know is just choices. You make life decisions to help people. Help yourself and help your marriage. You do not have to get involved, because as far as your wife is concerned and her family, Sheila's unalive. She's unalive.
So wait a minute.
Therefore,
Let me stop you, Breeze. Let me ask you a question. Since you're saying that, do you think that Finn should have just let it go? Is that what you think?
I feel that. I mean, what good would it bring to announce that? Oh, well, Steffi, you didn't unalive Sheila. It was somebody else. So, yay, my mom is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's not going to benefit his marriage. It's definitely not going to make the Forresters happy. If anything, they're going to look at him even more underneath the microscope. It's like, why are you happy about this after what she did to the both of you? And at first I was like, when, it came out that, well, I guess Sugar was unalive and he was really emotional, I really felt for him. And the fact that he shed no tears, I really felt for him in that moment. But it's like, after everything that your wife has went through, I feel like she's been there for him more than vice versa. And Steffi also went through a very traumatic experience herself. She unalived somebody. And when she was questioned, she didn't get that support, but she tried to understand what Finn was going through. And I just didn't really see that reciprocated on Finn's side. So it's like, how does he benefit besides, okay, he maybe get to know his birth mother, okay, but he's going to probably end up losing his whole family because of his relationship that he has with Sheila. And if that's the direction he wants to go in, then he kind of needs to say so.
Well, I guess it does benefit him. I mean, Steffi should have known this months ago, a year ago, when Taylor tried to bridge this whole thing together. And I think that was the Christmas of 2022, when she's like, you know what, let's just keep a closer watch, because therefore, that is his biological imperative, which is to get to know where you come from. But Steffi always suppressed it, got in the way of it, tried to control it. And I know I've probably said this in our conversations in the group chat and maybe in some of the recaps. Mm-hmm. You gotta let a person explore and go their own way, or else what's gonna happen is the more you suppress it, the more they're gonna want it. You try to keep something that's there within a person and say, no, you can't have it. No, you're going. It's going to make them want it even more. And so now he went through an emotional state when he thought that she was gone, and now to see her actually alive Because you know, he said some things in today's episode. He was like, I'm here. I thought I lost you. I don't want to ever lose you again. It's a wrap. Steffi, it's done. Stick
Yeah.
a fork in it. And at this point, if she get mad about him keeping that as a secret from her, and how come you didn't tell me? Well, ma'am, there's some things that you need to tell him too. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think you need to take several seats. But I mean, at this point, I'm just over it. I was a Sin fan for a very long time, but it's just, she's just too controlling for me. She's just too controlling for me. And so,
Yeah.
and the thing, you gotta let this man figure this thing out. For, I mean, it's just like what's her name, Luna, is going through. As much as her mom has been a mom and been raising her by herself, she wants to know who her father is.
Right. And she has every right. And
And
that whole situation is annoying too.
exactly. So at some points, and I'm not saying this is with everybody, but there's a lot of people who biologically want to know where they come from. Who is my mom? Who is my dad? And now that, he knows there's a connection between these two, there's a grandchild involved. Now, he might not get access to his son now.
Yeah.
I'm more worried, Steffi, whatever. But I'm more worried about what happens with Hayes and what happens with Lee.
Oh my goodness. I heard
Because
there's
Lee is going to be impacted by this one.
Oh my goodness. And maybe this is the turning point where she might get some sisterly support. Yeah, I see a lot of anger and a lot of facial expressions from Lee coming Finn's way.
I know, right?
Yeah, because that's the queen of the expressions. That's Lee's changing faces. I love that. But Finn would really have to explain his position as to what he wants from Sheila and what place does she have in his life, because I feel his wife at least deserves that, so she can make the proper decisions for herself and her kids as well. And this is why the audience is kind of really confused, and Keisha has been really on point when it comes to this, as well, and when we talk about it in group chats. But he shouldn't feel any sympathy or anything towards a woman who almost unalived him and his wife. Granted, it was his wife who forever instigates everything and put herself yet in a position to where her husband had to step in and take a bullet for her. And from that point, he shouldn't feel anything.
Well, we think he shouldn't feel anything.
Right. Exactly. But he's entitled to how he feels. Mm-hmm. And if he wants his mother in his life, he needs to let Steffi know. So if she wants to go, she can break away free, because she doesn't have to put up with that at all.
I mean,
I personally wouldn't.
Well, I mean, the two of them at this point, I just think it's a wrap, because she's not going to be able to control him, and he's going to now pursue what he wants. And they're not on the same page. Free each other. Bring Bridget back. Put him with Bridget. Steffi can go on back to Liam, because I don't know how long Ivy's going to be here. And we'll talk about them in a minute. But this is where this is leading to. So go back to Waffle Boy, and y'all can serp it up in the bedroom. How about that?
They don't even get it on anymore. They had so many opportunities. He had the doctor's office with that last week when he lifted that skirt up, or that cover up. I was like, oh, and they had plenty of opportunity, but they choose to put a stop on all that romance. I don't understand that. So I know this is definitely over between Sin, and that's unfortunate. And I guess Steffi's ready to serve herself up on a platter for Liam now, starting at El Giardino.
Yeah, so, I mean, I thought it was a tender moment. I'm always looking for new and different things when it comes to the soaps, but I'm curious to see where this connection is going to go. He might not, because I can't see Steffi allowing him to be in. Oh, I don't know. She might be vindictive enough to keep their son away from him. She might be that vindictive. You want to have a relationship with Sheila, fine, but I can't have you around Hayes. Now, I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of comments and stuff. Like, I checked on different videos, and they're wondering if Hayes' fraternity is going to come back into play.
Oh, okay. Got you.
So,
yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay, let's talk about this. Miss Thing comes through the door with, of course, Ivy leaning over the table, getting her lips locked into Liam's. And we saw this preview from last week, and we all called it as her feeling some kind of way. She got in her feelings a little bit and looked kind of jealous. Is that what you saw?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was no mistake. And how about the beginning of this week? This woman has been so pressed to know where Finn is, who's hooking up with who. Did Thomas move on? Is Hope going to try to get with Liam? I'm like, girl, don't you have a job to do?
Well, here's the other thing. She thought, I don't, oh, my goodness. We remember how she took on Hope with the whole thing with Thomas. She didn't already jumped into Deacon's face. And now she was going to rush over there and give Deacon a piece of her mind. And I'm like, girl, at what point do you realize that everybody ain't going to do what you tell them to do?
Exactly. Just like her grandmother, Cheryl Hines said it earlier in the chat, she just has the need to be controlling. Now here in this scene, right here, just like Finn, they had a moment to just let stuff go. As soon as he said, no, Deacon is not here, she had the option of turning away and going back to her job. She had no business entertaining whatever Liam had going on. He could have had 20 women over at that
table. Girl, you said 20 women.
I mean, I guess according to Ivy, he is the man of every woman's dreams, apparently. Out of all the men in Australia, and it's been, 15 years since she had a date with this man. She's like, out of all the men, I had to come all the way back to LA to come see you. I'm like, girl.
Okay, well, I'm going to switch the scene since you're talking about that, where she's kissing him right now. Yep.
And they both were just pressed about Liam all of a sudden. I'm like, how?
You know what? Okay, so yesterday I didn't have an issue with Ivy because I'm like, shoot your shot. Life is short. Why not put it out there? You know, you don't want to have any regrets. No shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But today she kind of laid it on a little too thick.
Yeah, it's like you haven't been with any other man? No other man?
I guess what really got me, Bree, is when she was talking about all the women want you. And, I mean, this guy, I'm like, okay.
Who? And here's the thing, Scott Clifton is gorgeous. I'm talking specifically about Liam. She is so gung-ho about Wonder Bread, and I've never seen her push and advertise Wonder Bread so bad. Like, oh my goodness, you're the best thing. Hope and Steffi should feel very lucky to even have you, and like you're the father of the year. I'm like, girl, you were on the other side of the world. Why are you trying to butter up Wonder Bread like this?
Yeah, I mean, she kissed him twice, and then she was like, there's a million other things that I could do with you before I go home. And then she was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did.
Yeah, apparently. I'm like, girl, you had to go all the way back to LA to try to get you something like, oh, okay. Well, I guess, but like you were saying, I mean, if she's a single girl, he's a single man, whatever they do, that's fine. Steffi had no business going over to that man's table. And for what? For what? The facial expressions for what? You got a whole man, a whole man that you were just pressed about, asking everybody, have you seen Finn? You were leaving nothing but voicemail messages like, honey, I miss you. Where are you? Where are you, Finn? Are you saving a life? And then you get the whole like worried expression about where your husband is. Then you go to a whole restaurant, press to go try to talk out Deacon for whatever reason.
You know what? You got a point there, Bree. Because why didn't she just go up to the hospital? Everybody else shows up in Finn's office. Hope,
Exactly.
Liam.
Exactly.
You could have went to the hospital and been like, "Hey, where's my husband, Dr. Finn?" No, you go up in there looking at Deacon, and then instead of looking for Deacon, and then instead of turning around to leave, then you turn around and go take a seat at the table in between these two very single people.
Yes. Single people. And isn't she a happily married woman? Didn't she just say that to Hope, like, hey, my marriage is together, and I had, me and my children are happy, we're living the dream. And now she, as soon as she sees somebody kiss Liam, because I honestly don't know if she knew who that was at first, kissing him, unless she knew from the body type. But she had no business going to that table. And for what? Press about it for what?
Did you hear what she told Liam, talking about cute?
And I'm like, and let it be cute. It has nothing to do with you. Just like Hope was saying, none of this has anything to do with you. Focus on Finn.
Yeah. Girl.
And you're right, she could have went to the hospital. She could have been waiting for her husband at home.
Yep. Oh, Lord, girl. Steffi she's been on, as they say, hell on wheels.
And for what? Now she wants Wonder Bread too?
Girl, you know this is where this is going. One or two things is going to happen. Either she's going to stick around, meaning Ivy, and maybe they'll turn this into something, or Liam is truly not that interested in Ivy, but sees that it's affecting Steffi.
I think that's what's going to happen. And I think Steffi and Finn's relationships, of course, going to crumble in the midst of all this. So maybe that's what May Sweeps is going to be about. And Steffi finds out that she didn't unalive Sheila with someone completely different.
So let me ask you this then. Say, for example, it's like we thinking Steffi leaves Finn, ends up with Liam. Where does that leave Finn, though? It's just him in a relationship with, his mom? Or what would they create for him? Or would he just phase off into the sunset? I mean, I don't see, if they separate those two, what does that mean for him? I mean, I'm assuming Thomas is going to eventually come back, which they'll probably, go back to the whole Thope situation.
Of course.
But where does that leave Finn if, he's just out there solo dolo?
Ooh, I have a couple ideas. I just want to throw it out there for the writers, producers, whoever listening. Bring back Bridget. And everyone's been saying it in the chat too. Bring her back. And I mean, they make use of the hospital anyway. Plus, it'll be nice to see other doctors. And we can he would need somebody else besides Hope, especially when Thomas comes back, because as soon as he comes back, she is going to go back for her man. So Finn's not really going to have anybody besides Lee. So bring back Bridget. And then also another thing too, we have Luna's paternity.
Yeah.
And they've looped this man into that whole scenario. So he might be dealing with a whole grown daughter if they haven't casted his father to play Jack.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because even whoever they put, if he's going to have a relationship with Sheila, it cannot be him putting Finn into a new relationship with anything related to the Forresters or the you know what I'm saying, because everybody hates Sheila. So even if he got with Bridget, would Bridget be okay with dating somebody that is Sheila Carter's son that he actually have a relationship with?
I mean,
that's gonna be tough.
She's used to the crazy. And actually, Sheila used to babysit her.
Oh, dang. That's true.
And that's all because of her mama, once again. I think that she's going to... What I love about Bridget is that she has a very sensitive heart. She's very understanding, kind of like Finn is. Mm-hmm. So she's not going to hold it against him. I mean, look at her past and the back and forth she did with her mom and the trauma that she went through. And, you know, the result of that was hope and all the other stuff that she had with Nick. But she'd be like a great addition. And plus, I would like to know what's going on with Bridget, because by now she should have a grown child, right? And mm-hmm. like whatever happened, like with Jackie and Owen, like there's so much stuff that could, like, you know, bring something fresh, or like bring something that's like a happy place for like the fans to somebody's storylines.
Okay, but you know what? Check the chat. Some people, like Melissa said, Bridget wouldn't get involved with Finn because Sheila shot her mom.
I mean,
see, that's the thing. Sheila has impacted most of these ladies on this show somehow, even with other family members. Who could he, unless they bring somebody like Amber or bring back Paris or somebody like that who maybe is not that closely impacted by Sheila's past, how would that work? I mean, I could see what she's saying. I mean, why would I date him and his mom shot my mom?
I mean, but that's the thing, that's not Finn's fault. I mean, he can't be punished for all the crimes, because there could be like a lot of Sheila's victims out there. It's like that has nothing to do with him, unless she's going to be a part of his life. Then that's going to affect Bridget and the Forresters, and then from there she wouldn't get involved with him.
And I think that's what they mean, Bree. It's not the fact of him being blamed for the shooting, for the, being shot or whatever. I think him having a relationship with Sheila is going to be the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate, but I would love for there to be a scenario to put those two together, like give like something fresh for Finn, something outside of controlling Steffy.
Yeah, I'm over it. I used to love Sinn, and I liked the fact that they used to have some hot scenes and stuff a couple years ago. But ever since this whole thing with him trying to figure out his relationship with Sheila, and then what happened in Rome, and then Liam and them kisses and all this kind of stuff, it's just like, okay, you know what, it's time. It's time for them to rotate the couples again. I mean, we tried. We needed Steffy away from Liam for a while, but
looks like that picture's coming back up.
Yeah. Listen, I thought Amber was unalived. Amber was still alive, wasn't she? Wasn't unalived on the show, was she?
Oh, no, she's alive.
That's what I thought.
We just haven't seen her. It's just been that long.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She's alive and well, like Amaya Baker said. But, Yeah, back to the scene with these three. I honestly think that Liam is going to use this as an opportunity to get under Steffi's skin.
I think so too. I think he's going to go back to his ways. He has two women, essentially, who are cat fighting over him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Somebody said that they thought that the kisses, Marcus said, they seem like the kisses are dead and gone. Why did they even put us through them two sets of kisses if they weren't going to use them for anything?
I don't know. Something told me, like, they do like very weird things and then they don't come back to it. So it makes me wonder if they just test certain things out and see if it sticks. Mm-hmm. And maybe at that time, especially since Jacqueline was pregnant, they really couldn't carry out with like a steam affair or anything like that. So maybe they had to kind of get rid of those kisses. They had to kind of go a different route with Liam, because a lot of fans didn't want her to go back to Liam. Mm-hmm. And they said he didn't change. He's the same old. He's Waffle King, Waffle Boy. Mm-hmm. His daddy's, sorry, Rich is Waffle King. Sorry. But now there's dialogue saying that he's changed and that he's focused and that he's focusing on work, which is a lie. We never see him at his job. Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. Ever.
So it makes me wonder if they're trying to change like the audience's viewpoint on Liam and say like, hey, he's growing up. If Thomas is making a change, Liam can do the same and, make him more, I don't want to say lovable, because Liam he's lovable in his own ways, but except for when he's like waffling between women, like cannot stand that. Mm-hmm. But if he's changing his ways, if he's growing up a little bit, that might warm the fans up to putting Scene back together. But mm-hmm. It looks like that's going to come in May anyway.
But you know what's interesting? I don't think this would have worked long term with Steffi and Finn anyway, because if he builds his relationship with his mother and then also find out that he has a daughter, meaning Luna, because we still got to get through that too. Hopefully they don't want you. That, could you imagine that whole thing? It's just, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that part of the storyline and where Finn and Sheila go from here.
And if he wants a relationship with the woman who mm-hmm. basically unalived him and his wife, I mean, yeah, he has no shot with his wife. And if he turns out to be Luna's dad too, that's just a double whammy. That marriage had no chance. And if the fans are like, I know that some fans are speculating regarding Hayes' paternity now, mm-hmm. because they're saying like, that's the only way that Steffi can break away from Sheila and cut the ties and da-da-da-da-da. That's gonna be so destructive for Finn, and it makes me wonder if that could also alter his personality.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go with this. She got other kids out there. Where's Daisy? Where's Mary? Where's Diana? Then we got Lucy, which I haven't seen any of them lately on The Young and the Restless. But she got a granddaughter out there. I mean, they could get kind of creative. And did you catch in yesterday's episode of was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, when Michael and Lauren was talking about Sheila Carter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll get confirmation that Sheila's actually dead. So
I was so glad that they did that, because I'm like, Lauren must have like a couple of private jets. She went from LA to Genoa City, from LA, all within 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my goodness, girl.
I know, right? So, yeah, this is going to be interesting, girl. I can't wait. My question is, how is he going to explain this to the Forresters where it makes sense that Sheila's alive? It was some doppelganger named Sugar who had Sheila's face, which is who Steffi stabbed. They gonna be looking like, on what planet of Twilight Zone are we in?
The soap universe where a woman on one show has slept with the father, the son, the daughter's husbands, and everything. So anything is possible. And then we have the Michael Myers of daytime.
Exactly.
Who forever has changing faces, who had expense accounts for all of her crimes and everything, plastic surgery. Anything is possible with Sheila. They all should expect everything with her.
Exactly. I mean, that I can't wait to see when all that come out. Now, from what it'll probably be next week, the week of the 6th through the 10th. But yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how they, meaning Deacon and Finn, explain to the Forresters, the Logans, and the Spencers that y'all were wrong and we were right. So.
I hope so for Deacon, especially every time they pop up at his restaurant. And that's the other thing that works my nerve. Deacon, kick these people out. But if they're tipping your waiters well and they're bringing you business, then that's fine. But don't interact with them. Don't allow them to just walk all over you.
And then, what do you think Steffi's facial reaction is going to be when she find out that Finn was up in there trying to save her? She gonna lose it.
Oh, she would be right in Liam's lap.
Girl, this gonna be a mess.
I could imagine Liam and Ivy get into a whole situation on the couch. Steffi pop in and say, "Hey, Liam, I'm coming back home."
Girl.
Ivy, here's your ticket to Australia. It was nice seeing you, cuz I'm taking my man back. I'm going to switch gears. She would jump in Liam's lap with a quickness.
Yeah, and then Liam is going to be, see, I told you. Now how we got to protect the kids again. Mr. Fearmonger.
Just such a mess. And the thing is, Finn was able to avoid all of this.
Girl, but he couldn't. No. He wanted to see if what he was talking about was real, and he found out it was real, and he found his mama, and he said he don't want to lose her again. So.
And good for him if that's his choice, but it's going to cost him. There's definitely no doubt about it.
Now I could see if it costed him somebody that was reasonable, but I'm partial to Steffi. Because she is just getting on my nerves. It's like, girl, good riddance. I mean,
the whole beginning of this week, I'm like, girl, what is your problem? If you're happy and relieved that Sheila is gone, anything that Deacon has to say shouldn't matter. And that's the same thing I have to feel about, like, with Finn. If he is curious and wants to know that his mom is alive and well, he needs to communicate that with his wife instead of kind of shutting her out. Kind of like that's why she was really bugged this whole week. But at the same time, she was really trying to be in control of everybody's life. Like the way she was talking with Hope, and I'm glad that Hope had checked her too. Like, look, you need to mind your business. You have a husband, Finn. And she had the opportunity to go to her husband's place of business, not Deacon's place of business, her husband's place of business, and see what was going on as with her own husband.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying about the controlling part, she wants to control how somebody feel and think, and that's never good to do. I mean, because we always talk about, people manipulating people and trying to control their thoughts. That's exactly what she was trying to do. I don't want you to think about her. You cannot think about her. You cannot have these feelings for her. You know what she did. You cannot. And it's like after so long, it's like, she really working overtime to get me to not think about this person. Why is that? That pool was there. But go ahead, Bree.
No, I was going to say, and it's not like he doesn't know. He took a bullet for this girl after she instigated.
Yep.
something that wasn't her business.
Yep. She's always trying to control situations that sometimes is out of her control. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, she could have controlled. She didn't have to chase. Because I replayed that video in my Instagram. Because I wanted to see the entire set of details after when Thomas left. She went upstairs at Il Giardino, and then Steffi come running up in Il Giardino, and Sheila took off running. You chased behind her into that alley. You did that.
Yeah.
And then everything else happened after that. And then Sheila told her 4 times to get the French toast out of there, and she didn't do it. It's like, go ahead, girl.
I was going to say, I understand that, yeah, Steffi was injured and she almost lost her life. I get that. But she also I feel she put herself in a lot of those predicaments.
Thank you.
She had a choice. She always had a choice. And if she's really that level-headed and smart, and if she wanted to go through the proper channels to see what was going on regarding Sheila, she had the opportunity to do that. But no, she forever wants to go rogue and feels that she's able to take charge. She's not her grandmother. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near like her grandmother.
You remember what happened that night when they were at Il Giardino? She was downstairs and she looked down at Sheila's feet and saw the 9 toes and realized it was Sheila. What did she do? She tried to chase after her, and Finn said, "Look what happened the last time you tried to do that."
Yes. And then she had to, as soon as she saw her, she buckled and she cried in the corner. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, every time you see Sheila, you want to forever confront her. But as soon as Sheila takes a couple of steps, you want to hide and run and cry and everything. And the thing is, you had the opportunity to put this woman in jail. You choose to listen to other people. If you're so strong-willed, that woman was already in jail. Your whole family pulled her out for no reason.
Yeah, girl. It's just, she the one started this mess. She's so scared, and I feel her presence looming around. But then you go to people's house beating on the door like you the police, and then you punching people out.
Yes. It's just, this is the character flaw I do not like with Steffi. Because I understand her namesake used to get herself into a lot of trouble, getting into other people's business. But just the way that Steffi is handling it is very immature, and it's kind of degrades her, in my opinion.
It makes her look petty.
Yes, and the way that she went after Liam and Ivy going to their table, and for what? You're a whole married woman, a happily married woman, apparently. So I don't like the way that they did this with Steffi's character. Mm-hmm. Like, she should be smarter and wiser and more strategic.
Yep.
Especially to be CEO. That's why I hope that Brooke goes after that CEO position that she's holding.
Well, somebody needs to tell her to take several seats, because like you said, Hope told her it's none of your business. She asking, are you interested in Liam? That ain't none of your business, girl. None of your business. Several times. It's like, where your kids at? Where your kids?
Exactly.
And like we said, instead of her running over to Il Giardino, trying to talk to Deacon, trying to get involved in their conversation, you should have been at the hospital if you were so concerned about what was going on with Finn. Why you ain't called Lee? Hey, Lee, have you seen Finn? Is he at the office? You could have called her.
Very good point. Or she could have went home, waited for her husband at home, something. It makes no sense why. What was the point of confronting Deacon? You already repeated ad nauseum for him to forget about Sheila. Clearly, he has not cared to do that.
Mm-hmm.
and that is his choice. She needs to move on and move forward. If she believes to be that she unalived Sheila, and she needs to move forward herself and let it be. I don't understand why she needs to feel she needs to be puppet master for everybody in her life. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, where does she have the time and the energy and to be CEO and to be mom of the century, apparently, even though we never really see her with her kids?
Yeah, I just think that Finn is a nice guy. He's been 110% faithful to her. She didn't have to worry about what Liam used to do. You know, he was the one that had to go through the paternity thing, finding out whether Hayes is his son versus, you know, a Liam's son. And it's just always something, you know.
And Ron Julian, you said Brooke can get no CEO position over Steffy. Okay. I want something for Brooke and something that get her away from like the love storylines. Like if she's moved on and perfectly fine with Ridge, that's fine. I would like for her to go after Steffy because I do like it when they go back and forth. And plus, Brooke has put a lot of contribution into the Forrester lines and the men and the corporation. So I give her a CEO position. Get her something to really say she's not going to allow Steffy to do. And say, look, I want to work side by side with my husband. And plus, you're acting wild. I put a lot of money into this business. And I put a lot of effort into all of these men as well.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
It's the facts, though.
Yep. All right, girl, we had a good one. I wanted to get a quick hour in here and talk about what happened this midweek with Ivy coming back and a little conversation between her and Liam and them finding Sheila and Finn and Deacon's reaction. So it was a lot for the midweek. Young and the Restless is off the chain right now. I mean, everybody's life is in turmoil.
And it's so good. I'm so happy with the writing. I have a lot of questions towards the rest of this week, so I'm hoping they're going to get answered. But you already told me that tomorrow's going to be something else, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah. You guys, if I know my Canadian folks have seen the Young and the Restless episode for what we would get here in the United States, which is tomorrow's episode. But if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It is crazy, and it looked like everybody's trying to go for an Emmy. I haven't seen Peter Bergman, like what he did in the second half of that episode. I haven't seen that. He was funny. She was too. Melody rocked out as well. And some of her snarky comments and comebacks and all of that, it was a little bit of comedy. It was a little bit of sadness. And these two, I'm telling you, you gotta make sure you check out tomorrow's episode.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. We've been knocking it out of the park. I can't wait.
And that whole episode tomorrow is just them two. That's it. No other storylines.
Oh, really? I thought they were going to touch on the Chancellor Winners thing.
Nope. The whole episode tomorrow is Jack and Nikki.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. I can't wait to check it out.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. And finally, we hear the word rehab.
Oh, thank goodness. From her husband, finally?
No, I'm talking about from Jack. Because in tomorrow's episode, there is nobody else but those two. But he brings it up. So, and I'm like, 6 months later, she should have had rehab after she came back from Oregon.
Yeah.
That girl had an IV of vodka. She should have had rehab. And I kind of touched on this briefly, and then I'm going to end the live. We talked about this, Bree, is the fact that she was written in the storyline to have MS. How are you drinking this much alcohol where the alcohol is not affecting your MS? That doesn't make sense to me.
And she used to have flare-ups and complained
Exactly.
about the flare-ups. And it's like it magically disappeared. I would figure by now that all that alcohol would start to kind of deteriorate her health in some capacity, and also the stress, like losing weight, like that's where I don't know. Maybe she has a private chef that follows her, and she gets all the nutrition, and
Girl,
she's
you
using
would
her
think all of the
$1 billion.
alcohol that she was drinking, that she would have been an alcohol poison. That girl had so many bottles of booze, it was crazy.
She probably has like liver donors lined up just in case.
Oh, one other thing too. Tell me why Abby don't still know about her mother.
Oh, I was so annoyed by today's episode. Billy had this whole conversation about Chancellor Winters. That's why I was wondering if they were ever going to touch on the whole Ashley thing. We've seen all this back and forth with Ashley and this man and the psychiatrist. Why did Billy not even mention what's going on with Ashley?
Well, even when she saw her at the society, she looked completely clueless. You know, when
Yes.
she was serving her and Dr. Laurent the the bubbles, and she looking at her mom like, okay, what's going on with you? And I'm like, they still haven't told that girl.
And I'm surprised Abby wasn't at least curious. I mean, she also could have asked, like, hey, like I saw my mom, she was acting a little weird. Have you noticed something, was going on with her? There needs to be dialogue at this point. If she's going through, I think the psychiatrist said that she had psychosis previously. I think Jack said that she had psychosis previously, something to that effect.
Okay.
So she's not the least bit curious to know what's going on with her mom, and like Billy's doesn't want to share what's going on so that Abby's aware and it can also help and make decisions in case it comes to that point. That was really annoying to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Cheryl Hines said, I work in the medical field. Let me tell you that MS and alcohol don't mix.
Right.
Yep. So.
Wow.
All right, girl. This was a good, quick midweek chat. Thanks for helping me out. And my nose is getting kind of clogged again. You probably could hear me sounding kind of nasally all of a sudden.
Oh, try to feel better.
Yeah.
Everybody's sick.
All right, girl. So thanks so much. And we'll see you guys on Friday night. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.